I am doing something new today. I am sharing with you a news article, well, a couple of news articles. I don't usually focus on news, but these seem very relevant because it talks about a huge development that's coming to Coeur d'Alene and a new school. So let's dive in. I am not like a full-time YouTuber, so I am not advanced enough to like share my screen in a way that makes sense. So I'm gonna just go for it here. We are learning together. All right. The first article I read was on kxly.com. It says big changes are underway for a large plot of land in Coeur d'Alene. Back in March, the Coeur d'Alene City Council approved the development of Coeur project, which includes 3,000 housing units, shops, and even a new middle school. On Monday, the Coeur d'Alene School Board approved a purchase of 20 acres for the new middle school. And it says the Jeff Voller, who's the director of operations for the CDA school district, said this is the closest to Woodland Middle School, and Woodland Middle School is full. So as growth and development continues to happen in that part of our district, kids are going to need a place to go to school, which is true. This development is in like northwest Coeur d'Alene, so it is south of Pole Line. So Pole Line runs east-west, and then you have I-90 down here, and then Hutter Road is running north and south. So it's between essentially like I-90, Hutter, Pole Line. If that makes sense. And that area is the prairie. And my husband and I were just commenting how like this is gonna all in the next 5 to 10 years, this is gonna all explode. So if you're moving here thinking like, oh, North Idaho, it's so small, like it's going to stay so small. We're so like happy with the size of the town. Like it's going to change. They always do. That's how I felt about my hometown growing up. And um, yeah, it exploded. So just keep that in mind. I actually love the prairie. When we moved here in February of last year, the home we were living in, which we had bought as an investment, was on the prairie. And one thing that I loved was the sunsets because there's really nothing like blocking your view. There's no big mountains blocking the sunset. Just that prairie sunset was so beautiful. And where we landed in North Hayden, we have a nice sunrise, but it's not the same, not the sunset. Okay, so continuing back to the article, it says the development comes at a price, though, and a timeline for the bond or levy to pay for this new school has not been set. Well, that's very interesting. But the price was right on the property. And that director of operations, Bowler, says the developers have been really generous in this. We essentially bought it at below market value. It comes with development, which means roads, sewers, water will be put into the property. And so in the long run, that's going to save taxpayers money. And then the city council's approval of the Coeur project back in March was met with pushback from those living nearby, which I believe there has been complaints that I've heard about just increased traffic getting to like 41, like when you're going down Prairie. And so they're going to need to do some road improvements if they're planning on adding this like one school, maybe two schools, and another 3,000 houses. Oh, it does talk about traffic. The plans for the new middle school leave many neighbors worried about the traffic impact. Carrington and Prairie are so congested as it is. I can't even imagine having a middle school over there or an elementary school. Coeur is working on different projects to help identify and minimize traffic impacts. Plans are also in place for an additional school on the south end of the development. And from what I understand, that would be the elementary school. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, this one is on KREM 2. Channel 2. I don't watch the news. This is just came up in a feed. And it says the Coeur development off of Hutter Road is going to transform Coeur d'Alene over the next 20 to 30 years. It again says they got intense pushback from surrounding neighborhoods, but the city council approved the project back in March and the land was annexed into the city. Their plans are to build 2,800 new housing units, commercial shops, and 2 new schools. On Monday night of The Coeur d'Alene School District approved the purchase of 20 acres on the north end of the development for just over $4.3 million, and that was $233 below the appraised value of that property. And that's where they're going to put the middle school. And the Coeur developers are going to put in that infrastructure, like we already read about. To finance this, the school district sold 10 acres of soccer fields behind Hayden Meadows Elementary School, as well as the old Hayden Lake School, to finance the land purchase. And Coeur has agreed to dedicate another 10 acres to the school district for an additional school at the south end of the development. All right, so now you know, I think that this is like pretty big news. This is a really large development. We knew that more development was going to happen in that like northwest Coeur d'Alene area on the prairie north of I-90, not quite Post Falls, and it's coming. I will keep you updated. I'm interested in knowing, I mean, obviously this is very fresh news, but I'm interested in knowing what the timelines are for this project and also price point. Like what kind of houses are going in there? What are the lot sizes going to be? Are they going to cram them in there? Are they going to give them breathing room? When we moved out here well, gosh, we bought our house as an investment a couple of years ago. And when we came out, I mean, Vancouver, Washington, they are zoning for density because that area has grown so much. And so the lot sizes are pretty small. And I mean, I even in my career as a realtor out there working for a builder was selling homes for years that were like 3,000 square foot lots, which is like nothing. That's like a 4 foot setback from the lot line. That's like a 12-foot backyard. So moving here, the lot sizes in the neighborhood we were looking at that were new construction were like quarter-acre parcels. And the sales rep was like, I know, I'm so sorry, they're so tiny. And that just kind of blew our mind. So uh, hopefully these homes that are going in are also on decent lot sizes because that's going to also impact the amount of congestion and everything else in that area. So there you are. You have been updated. I will put a link to both of these articles in the description down below, and I'll keep you posted if I hear anything else.